what you stand for.
You know, growing up, the struggle was really real, you know, for me and bro. And those of you who know, you already know the story, but for those of you who don't, you know what I mean, to briefly explain, like, we ain't had no guidance, no father, you know what I mean, no mother, you know, none of that, no mentors, no nothing, you know what I mean. You know, our father was missing at the time. You know, we had a stepfather, you know, who was abusive, and a mother who was, you know, unfortunately addicted to crack cocaine, you know, which made her absence in our life. And I mean, the things that we went through, for any child to go through, you know, would have left any child hurt and pain, you know, depressed, you know, lonely, and, you know, feeling the lack of love and the lack of joy and so many other things. You got to understand, like, at 7, 8 years old, you know, the clothes me and my brother was wearing a lot of times on our back was clothes that we helped steal, and, you know what I mean, from stores, 12, 13 years old, you know, when a lot of people knew that we was living on Otter Street and playing baseball, and, you know, the other kids had other little activities going on and living their childish life, you know, we was already stealing from B-Lo's and you know, in other stores, stealing candy and hustling the candy at school to keep the lights on. At the same time, you know, we had friends who, you know, their parents didn't want us, you know, to be around their kids because, you know, we was the crack kids, and, you know, so you combine that with the fact that we didn't have no family members to really accept us, and then we didn't have no friends who really, you know, wanted, you know, parents really wanted us around their kids like that. And the only thing that's really left for to accept us was the streets, you know. And so, you know, that's what we ran to. We ran to our, you know, the street life and the friends and, you know, the activities of that street life, man. And, you know, coming up in them streets, you know, it teaches you, you know, a certain way of thinking and a certain way of living. It was codes and, you know, principles and, you know, ways you supposed to did things and how you supposed to, you know, carried out things. And I started to embody that, you know, because it was all I had. You know, if I didn't have the streets, I didn't have nothing else. So, you know, it was never really about me trying to commit crimes or trying to hurt nobody else. I was just simply trying to suppress, you know, my pain, and which led me, you know, in and out of, you know, institutions and group homes, and, you know, till I ended up in prison and, you know, formulated a mentality, you know, that was hard for me to break away from, because I became the streets. I became, you know, what I felt like was the highest standard of being an individual from the streets, which was being a real nigga. And I lived by these codes. I went from city to city, state to state, prison to prison, institution to institution, living and seeing people, you know, around me dying by the codes and made so many sacrifices, only to realize that the streets only have one type of ending to them.